We next have a proclamation to designate June as Fatherhood Awareness Month in Fairfax County. This was requested by Supervisor Kathy Hudgens, and we have with us Moses Cobb, and Moses is here with his two sons, Bryce and Barron. And if you could come on down to the podium, Supervisor Hudgens.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, the proclamation reads, whereas fathers play an integral part in the successful lives of their children, and research has demonstrated that the psychological and emotional development, health, and well-being of children is significantly enhanced by the presence, commitment, and nurturing of fathers and father figures. And whereas with fathers actively engaged, children are less vulnerable to the risk of childhood poverty, mental illness, juvenile delinquency, youth sexual activity, teen pregnancy, substance abuse, and failure to complete high school. And whereas involvement of fathers in the lives of their children increases the likelihood of success in social skills, academic performance, adult careers, employment goals, and involved parenting skills for their future families. And whereas through programs including Father Engagement, Healthy Families Fairfax, and the Head Start Policy Council, the Fairfax County Department of Family Services, and additional county agencies and community-based agencies help fathers gain parenting skills and economic self-sufficiency. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, on behalf of all of the residents of Fairfax County, does hereby proclaim June 2016 as Fatherhood Awareness Month in Fairfax County to raise public awareness of the importance of fatherhood and the importance of a father's engagement with his children and family. Madam Chairman, I so move.
Second.
Moved by Supervisor Hudgens and seconded by Supervisors McKay and Faust. Discussion on the motion. Supervisor Hudgens.
Madam Chairman, it's delighted to welcome Mr. Cobb and the two young men, because as we talk about the importance and the success of our children in the family, we know that every person and every family needs a strong adult. And that strong adult as a parent is most critical, and a father is most influential and critical in the lives of children. And so I think I want to make first to reach out to the county agencies and the organizations that have been supporting the Fatherhood Engagement Program. This is an exciting opportunity for fathers to exhibit and learn and grow in how they will shepherd their children and become that person that is looked upon as the guidance for the young children as they grow. These agencies have provided great opportunities. I watched the Policy Council of Head Start, the Healthy Families, and the Fatherhood Engagement Program, and to be out at activities where they bring their children out and they are simply exhibiting what happens every day in their families. And that exhibit is to the long-term success of those children. What is the outcome? The outcome is a self-effacing child that builds confidence, emotionally confident, and able to succeed in whatever their life goals are. So I want to thank the Fatherhood Engagement Program and thank Mr. Cobbs and the role that he and the other people have played in making sure that this program continues to grow. And I want to thank the young men for coming out and joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor Hudgens. Supervisor McKay.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I want to thank Supervisor Hudgens for bringing this item forward today. And, you know, we talked earlier about societal change and acceptance, and one thing that has certainly we have all benefited from is a shift in society to be more accepting of male parental figures playing a leading role in raising their child, not just being involved, but literally doing the things that conventionally might have been seen as a woman's job or somebody else's job. And I can tell you, as a parent of an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, many times one of them is with me at official work functions, and you know, I don't look at that as setting an example, but several people have come up and said how happy they are to see those kids out and about and to see that their dad is spending time with them. To me, it's second nature. You would, of course, do that. But to have members of our community come up and point out that, wow, we've changed as a society and there's an expectation that men are going to play an active role in their children's lives, not just for the right reasons, but because they want to. It is quite a change from the past, and one that we should encourage every step of the way, and one that as men we should frankly be embracing, stepping up to the plate and playing that role in a very proud way. And I think society is coming around to support that. So thank you, Supervisor Hudgens, for raising awareness, and I also want to thank the two young men who are here with us today, who are very, very well behaved, and probably would rather be nowhere else than here right now. So thank you, guys.
Further discussion. Supervisor Cook.
I have to agree with Supervisor McKay. If my kids were here, they wouldn't be quite so well behaved. But good job with that. And if you have some tips for us, we're happy to hear them later. But I'm pleased that we're bringing this recognition today. Fathers are critical to our families, and our families are critical to our society. And you know, there are times when it is not possible, where there's not a father who is available, but there are so many occasions where fathers are available, but they haven't made themselves available. I started my career as a child support enforcement attorney, and put a number of fathers in jail because they refused to at least hold up their economic obligations. But that's not all of fatherhood. Fatherhood is so much more, and government can't force people to be fathers. That's something that the culture has to do. And when folks such as yourselves and the organizations that we recognize today are encouraging people to understand all the joys of fatherhood and all the benefits that it brings, and that's really the positive message. And so anything we can do to encourage that message and to bring families together is really important to our society. So I'm pleased that we're doing it today.
Thank you, Supervisor Cook. And with that, all those in favor of the motion to approve, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. That motion carries. And I will turn things over to Moses Cobb, and let me just say, your sons are a real credit to you. They are handsome and, you know, really well-behaved young men. They're very, very personable without even having to say anything. So, welcome.
Other members of the Board of Supervisors, good morning. I'm going to try to be brief. You know my name. I'm a proud father, single father of two young boys, Bryce and Barron, 11 and 6. I'm truly honored to be standing here before you this morning accepting the proclamation from the board today designating June as Fatherhood Awareness Month. Like most parents, I've always wanted the best for my children. Realizing a very incomplete relationship with my own father, I proceeded to research, register for, and ultimately complete the 12-week Department of Family Services Dad's Parenting Group, formerly known as the Fathers in Touch program, in the spring of 2012. It was then led in part by Shampana Bernard and Calvin Robertson, who I still maintain very close relationships with to this day. I realized fairly quickly after my son Bryce was born that a father or any parent is not given instructions for raising their children, even though the instructions for the hospital bill were very clear. I often used to think to myself that when my boys grow up, they won't be boys at all anymore. They will be young men, whether I have taken seriously the responsibility of raising them or not. As a result of the Dad's Parenting Group, I developed a current desire for a future relationship I wanted to have with both of my sons, where we loved and showed love to one another because we were simply that close and connected. The Dad's Parenting Group class allowed for very thought-provoking discussions and debates where I was challenged not only by the instructors but by the other dads in the class as well. The instructors led us through some difficult sessions about communicating with our sons and daughters, helping them to understand why we have to instruct them at different times, and even explaining to them that everyone makes mistakes, even fathers. We learned how to place value on our children's feelings while we taught ourselves the importance of saying, "I'm sorry," to our young children. We learned why it is so important to not only be physically present, but mentally engaged with our sons and daughters. The dads in my class discussed leaving work, personal relationships, and court problems at the doormat outside of home so as to facilitate quality time spent with our children when quantity of time was not possible. Our group of dads discussed that our children watch everything we do, and I mean everything we do, and that everything we do as dads ultimately shapes their childhood experiences and what type of young men and women they will grow up to be. Being Bryce and Barron's dad is my first job, and I have the dad's parenting group to thank for highlighting that point. A couple of last thoughts to share about what I've learned about fatherhood through and even after taking the dad's parenting group class. Father hard at work, young men under construction describes my role as Bryce and Barron's dad. Fatherhood was never designed to be a sprint for a few years. Being a father is the ultimate commitment to running the marathon of and for a lifetime. Nurturing ourselves as dad is not something grown men talk about at all. However, through the dad's parenting group, I learned that being a father means me taking time for dad to refuel so that I can be Superman for my children, or in the case of my household, Iron Man and Captain America. Understanding fatherhood means being sensitive to the needs of your children as they are really small people that are growing into big people. A father must be accountable daily to his words and actions in order to get this thing called fatherhood right. But even more importantly, that same father must be willing to change in order to get it right. Dads make mistakes. Bryce, Barron, your dad makes mistakes. Yes, he does. But through all of my mistakes, I'm committed to you both for the rest of my life. I love you guys. I want to thank the board for giving me this awesome opportunity to speak and share with you this morning. And again, I want to reiterate how thankful I am for receiving this recognition for all fathers and father figures.
Wow. Thank you so much for those beautiful words, and thank you so much for bringing your two wonderful sons. I think we're ready for a photo, and if you could come forward. Sure. And if there are others who are here who you would like to have join you, Supervisor Hudgens and I will come on down, and the board will do the switch.